had in the past, so that's why it's back in there.
And another way of putting it is, we took it away but gave them something else.
Right,
Which was, a health benefit, and now we're scaling back on the health
The health
benefits.
benefit, so that's.
And this is appropriately being reinstated. So, we have a motion. It's been seconded. Any further comment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? We'll move to the Ledgelight Health District Board of Directors appointments. We have a resignation from Joyce Schmidt, who has served our town with honor. And I thank Mrs. Schmidt for her service to the town, but she is asked to be to resign from the Ledgelight Health District. Do we have resumes, or do you have?
Yes. Darlene
Receive
did
them by
email out.
emails. Okay, and so is there a motion to consider?
Yes. I'd like to move to reappoint F. Kent Sestair of 22 Chesterfield Road, East Lyme, to serve on the Board of Directors for Ledgelight Health District through January 6, 2020. And also to appoint Susan Graham of 47 Oswegatchie Hills Road, Niantic, to serve on the Board of Directors of Ledgelight Health District through January 6, 2020.
Second.
I commend Mr. Sestair for his many years of service to the town, and for Miss Graham for stepping up and serving his town as she has in the past, and served well. The Ledgelight Health District is an important. It's an important organization in our town. They do so much in different ways. So it will be great to have great representation on that board.
I would just like to note that Ms. Graham's resume was very impressive, and she will bring excellent skills to bear on this appointment.
Indeed.
Also, just for disclosure, my son is a full-time employee at Ledgelight, so I will be abstaining on the vote.
Okay. Any other comments or abstentions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
One abstention.
And one abstention. Tell Chris we said aye. Great. We have no unfinished business or communications, to my knowledge. We have one communication. I will share it with you as it was shared to me the other day. I guess I'll read it through, too. Received on July 21st. Dear Mr. Selectman Nickerson, I am writing to inform you that effective August 31st, 2016, I will resign my post as assessor of the town of East Lyme to begin retirement. I'd like to take this moment to thank the town administration for many years of professional and personal development opportunities afforded to me during my 13 years. It's been a rewarding experience working with the management team over my career, and I'm honored to have worked with exceptional professional and knowledgeable assessment staff. Their support and friendship made my East Lyme tenure both enjoyable and successful, and she's here to assist us during her final weeks. That's signed, of course, by Donna Price Beckich, who is our very able, very dedicated town assessor at this moment until the last minute of the day on the 31st of August. And we are beginning the process of determining how we'll fill that seat in those shoes. So thank you, Donna, Mrs. Beckich, for your years and years of service, and good service indeed. That's the communication we have received. We'll move on to, I think it's ex officio. Lost my place.
Correct.
So, Mr. Salerno, do you want to start down at that end? We'll move across the table.
Sure. I was at Inland Wetlands on Monday. Just a couple things to note that there was a request to release a bond on 57 Walnut Hill Road for some work that was done that hasn't been completed yet. They voted against releasing the bond. And they're also starting to meet to perform a regulation review, to go over the regulations. They're meeting prior to the meetings every month to go through the regulations. Harbor Management last month. The Harbor Management Plan, I've been talking to you, it's taken a little bit of time. I mentioned last time that they got some feedback from DEP, and they were requesting some changes to regarding armoring of arming walls, seawalls, and stuff like that. And they have requested Attorney O'Connell review it. There was some controversy when we had Crescent Beach, and there's some questions about whether that needs to be in there or not. So that there is a little delay on that till we get a clarification. Also, Mr. Lonergan, as you know, he's doing some oyster harvesting in the river in the bay. And he was there just talking about a few things. But I just thought it's interesting to report that he's had great success in the river this year. This is his first year. I think he's had over hundreds of thousands of oysters this year. He started with like half-inch seedlings, and they're 3 to 4 inches. They're very, very good growth. He's very pleased, and he's going to be ready to sell them soon this year. And there was interesting to note that there was a report that I guess came out from URI that was talking about how oysters in a river are very beneficial to absorbing a lot of the extra nutrients that are in the river. As we know, we have a lot of that in Nyack River, so that's an interesting study. No, that's all I have.
Okay, Commission on Aging, I think we had their 2 agenda items on our agenda tonight, so no need for further discussion of that. And Commission on Aging and Natural Resources do not meet in August. So I'm on vacation.
Again, and same thing with Parks and Rec, they did not have a meeting last month. Water and Sewer last week, I chaired the meeting last Tuesday. One of the things that was done is we had a public hearing at the beginning on the sewers down on Park Place for the assessment. The Water and Sewer Commission set the assessment for the various properties on that road. And here again, you do not, this is an opt-in, which is unusual, but because it was done because of the contractor having to do that neighborhood because of the condos. The opt-in, the only time they would have to opt in is if there was a failure of the septic system, which was interesting because no one knew what that definition was, so we were able to determine from legislate what a failed septic system is. Basically, it's if it's breaking through, the groundwater is breaking through the surface of your lawn, or it's backing up into the house, or you're having to pump it, numerous times a year. That's it. If it's just a pipe that needs to replace, that's not considered a failure. So, fairly interesting on that. And then on Thursday, we had the public information thing on possibly extending the sewers into Saunders Point. Are you going to cover that additionally under your report?
No, keep going.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Okay, and basically, right now, our company has come in and identified the neediest areas based on reviewing records only of what the neediest areas in Saunders Point are. Now they're looking for input from the community, basically fact-finding, so that they can determine, to make sure their information they have is consistent with what people are telling them. It's fact-finding. There's no project yet. There's no date for a start of a project or anything like that. We're just in the infancy stages of gathering data right now. And I think the company is doing a very good job of inputting information and contacting all the residents there, so they'll have a very good idea of what the needs are before they do bring a project forward. That's it.
Mrs. Cheeseman.
I attended the meeting of the Planning Commission last night. They dealt with 2 zoning referrals, which were in relation to text amendments. One was to amend section pertaining to public notice signs when an outdoor dining establishment is applying for a renewal, where alcohol is served, that they should not be required to post a public notice advertising sign. They would have to do it the first time they applied, but when each subsequent time they were applying for renewal, they would not be required to post the sign. And the Planning Commission viewed that as consistent with the Plan of Conservation and Development. The other was a request for a text amendment to the East Lyme zoning regulations to amend section 1.27 farming by adding the word bees after the word poultry. The Planning Commission viewed that as inconsistent with the Plan of Conservation and Development because it was too restrictive. You would be required to have a substantially larger lot to keep bees, and they felt that the propagation of bees being essential to the survival of the human race should not be discouraged in that way. I'm quoting. Anyway, there was a long discussion about rabbits, but that managed to get knocked on its head. The other was a municipal referral request of the town of East Lyme for the narrowing of Latimer Drive from Chesterfield Road to the intersection of Cavison Drive, and that was approved with a recommendation that the town consider using the spare space for sidewalks. And that was the planning commission meeting. As ever, a fascinating hour and a half. My other comment, not relating to commissions, but just to let residents know, Charter Oak, who's been a wonderful local bank and member of the community, they finance the Bayside development, is going to be launching on August 15th. It's $100,000 in 100 days. They are going to be giving $100,000 to local 501c3s. Every member of Charter Oak can contribute up to $100 to a local not-for-profit, and it will be matched by Charter Oak. And they will give up to $100,000. So from a partisan point of view, I would encourage you to make the Children's Museum your 501c3, but this applies to any 501c3. If you're a Charter Oak member, you will get a form from the bank, indicate your, send in your donation with the form. The 501c3 will complete the other half, and they will receive a match up to $100, and they're in $25 increments. So I would encourage Charter Oak members out there to take advantage of this because it's a great way to double your gift.
Well, I think we should, as the governing body of East Lyme, try to figure out a way that we can capture as much
All
of
of
that
it,
money as
locally?
possible. We have a lot of viable 501c3s. I'm thinking this same
Well,
with
that
Smith
was-
House and your organization, but many.
Well, that was one of the reasons I wanted to read it into the record, because I know they're going to start promoting it. It will be on their website. There was an information session at their headquarters discussing this. As I say, August 15th through November 23rd. If they could give away the $100,000 in the first 3 weeks, but they view this as a way of investing in their local community and also matching their members in their passion to support their local not-for-profits. So.
Terrific. Maybe a few of us could get together and maybe come up with a way. Maybe we can create a subcommittee to promote this from within our town and encourage our 501c3s, especially the ones connected to town government, like our historic homes and the Friends of Oswegatchie Hills, those groups, Save the River, Save the Hills, to really encourage their membership to do this. So
And
maybe
as I say, it's only open to Charter Oak members, so you have to have
Right.
an account at the bank. But they did not place a limit on, how many members could contribute to any one not-for-profit. So
would you help me put
Sure.
that together? Thank you. We'll work on that together. Dan.
So I was at the Waterford East Lyme Shellfish Commission on Thursday, the 21st, and as was mentioned earlier, as Tom Londrigan is a very interesting man who is he's promoting the aquaculture Nyack Bay shellfish farm, and he's trying to work on a project inside the river itself to try to locate an area to do an experimental project with promoting the farming of shellfish. And he does it out in the bay, and he has permits for that now, but he wants to incubate some of it inside the river. So they're trying to see if there's a way, at least from their perspective, that is consistent with their policies and rules, that he might be permitted to do it. I think he's very sincere, and I think it would be a great thing if it could be accomplished. I think there's a lot of benefits, as Mark had indicated. It would help to clean up the river to some degree. So it's a good thing. So that's being looked at. I think as part of that, they're going to take a review of their aquaculture policy to make sure that there aren't any conflicts with that. And they want to guard against any big commercial operations going on in the river. But it's being looked at, so it's very interesting. One thing that was mentioned, I'll just throw it out there. They were discussing a particular type of jellyfish that has been working its way into Long Island Sound, and it's very dangerous. It can actually cause paralysis, and there's none in Nyack Bay, but they are worried about it, and just to be aware of it, that could be an issue as the water warms up and temperatures climb around here, that could be an issue if they start moving up this way, so something to be aware of. I also attended the Smith-Harris Commission, and they're very diligent in maintaining that property. They do have a fundraiser coming up on August 14th. It's a motorcycle show. The Lions are doing the food at that event, so that's August 14th, and might be something to attend. And that's about it for me.
Thanks, Mr. Cunningham. I have just a few items because we're just in summer mode these days, and a lot of the meetings have been canceled, et cetera. But there's just too many activities in our town to mention. I'd like to point out a few things. We've had a great summer. We've had great weather. We have a great staff down at the beaches and in our parks. Our lifeguards have been active and have actually assisted on the saving of yet another person down at the beach. But there's also, with that, we can always improve. And there's always a few citizens that give me their 2 cents, usually on Monday mornings after a busy weekend. And I couldn't agree more. It's very frustrating times sometimes to live in a place that people want to come to. So the next Parks and Rec Committee meeting is on August 11th. I believe they start at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And I'm encouraging those who want to voice an opinion, might have a suggestion on how we can run our parks differently, making observations on what they see, etc., to come on August 11th as part of it'll be more of it's just public delegation, but maybe a little bit of a discussion before the rest of their agenda, and encourage people to come. It's at the usually the Chandali room of the East Lyme Community Center. So if you're out there and you kind of want to get something off your chest, the Parks and Rec Commission, and have a suggestion on how things are going, please, by all means, come on August 11th. We'd like to hear from you. I'll be there to assist the discussion, and that's all I have on that. We have a new animal control officer. He was hired. He is an East Lyme employee, and Waterford is sharing the cost of this ACO. His name is Chris Toledo. He's been working alongside of our former ACO, who had left his position in Waterford and gone to Groton. So we're very pleased. This is a young man who has got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of ideas, brings a lot of spirit to the job, and I commend him. It's a tough job. The more this job, you don't know a little about everything. You know a lot about everything, and I know a little more than I want to know about ACO. But it's helpful because we hired the right kid. I shouldn't say kid, young gentleman, and I've learned that it's just a tough job. It's 7 days a week. It's animals who are dependent on this person for care. The East Lyme Regional Theater had a wonderful production this weekend. Again, they sold out on Friday night and turned people away. That's amazing. The high school gym of Hairspray. Great group, and they're not all East Lymers. It's a regional theater. They come from all over, and what a wonderful thing. I also, at the same time that was going on Friday night, I commend Eva Menden, who just a citizen in our town, a great citizen in our town, a Rotarian, as well as other things, and she put together a community discussion on race relations in our region. She had heard some people talking in our region, and something came up, and she just felt like people need to hear this message. So she invited some clergy and some professionals that have dealt with this, and they put about 30 people in a room down at the senior center on Friday night, and had a little pizza and soda, and had some discussion. It actually made the front page of the paper, the region section. I was happy that Eva got some coverage. Were you there, Kim? Great. So thanks for that coverage, and I think it's and if you don't know the show Hairspray, it has to do with race relations in the '60s. So it's kind of apropos, and with what's going on in our world, certainly in our country, around the country, it's a timely conversation to have. Broadway Kids is an organization in our town. It's a business, and they've occupied business space in our town. They're also putting on a production of Hairspray this weekend, and they're putting it on at Mitchell College. That's this coming weekend, and I encourage you to go out and see that. They work real hard at it, and they should be all the arts programs in our town should be supported. I commend them for doing what they do. The Mike G Golf Tournament went on. 4th or 5th year annual, and we raised a lot of money. And of course, it's in honor of Mike Giantasio, whose portrait adorns the meeting room here, and has served our town so well, so gracefully for so many years. Society Road tomorrow, starting Thursday, August 5th, 4th, August 4th, will be paved. So they crunch up all the pavement and they lay down some new pavement. It's going to be a mess down at Society Road. I don't even know if it will be open for traffic. So from Flanders Road to the Riverhead, Dean Road intersection up on top of the hill where it splits, past the community center, past the Lily B School. That's going to be a mess for a couple of days as we put a new road down. So avoid that if you can. Friday night music continues at ProTech. I commend those fellows that put that on. And lastly, the triathlon is this weekend, this Sunday. If you're not a runner, biker, swimmer like me, you can go down and watch it. And hundreds and hundreds of people come to Niantic the first Sunday of August and bike in our town, run down our town, and jump in our bay, and it's amazing. And go down and see it. I think it starts at 7:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's happening this Sunday. I wish them good luck. That's all I have for now, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Just one other thing, the VFW is having a food drive for Care and Share on Saturday from 9 to 4. And I would encourage anyone, we know Care and Share is a wonderful organization. They're accepting food, non-perishable food items, staples, and will take gift cards and monetary donations. So
That's put on by the good people of the Niantic Rotary Club, I believe.
That's
And
correct.
it's at the VFW, so as you
Yeah.
make your way around toward McCook's Beach and all that, you're right there, and they'll be looking for your generous donations. Good point, Holly. There's so much going on. I didn't dare try to get into it all. Any other items, though?
Could you give us an update on the status of the destruction of the buildings at Roxbury Road?
Yes, the next time we meet, there won't be buildings there. We're doing the lead, I believe this week. We're doing the lead study. They have to inspect, make sure there's no lead in the building, or if there is, they have to remove it. That's the most I don't know the technical part of that part, but we have a demolition contractor already on. We received bids, opened the bids, and we have that. And both buildings will be demolished before we meet again.
Good. I'm seldom happy to see a building in town go, but I'll make an exception for this.
I agree with you. It's a long time coming, and I'm very, very proud of our town's engineering staff who have worked so hard in the public works. I got to say though,
I will
that
refrain from comment.
but I will. We as a town have been generous to many organizations, Care and Share being one, but the Children's Museum another, and they took a big hit for this because they were using one of the buildings and for storage and for the fabrication of future exhibits. And the news came rather shockingly to the director and her group, but they worked hard in moving out and finding other space. And I'm sorry.
And I will add, we are still looking for somewhere where we can fabricate. We have taken care of our storage needs, but if you know our building, there is no room to build exhibits, and it was very handy to have that. And I really, we were extraordinarily grateful and privileged to have been able to use that space for so long, but we would love it if anyone has a space, where we can keep our table saw and get in and build exhibits. If you haven't been to the museum recently, please come in. We have some wonderful new exhibits, and like Mark said, we've had a great summer, even with the fabulous weather. But I do want to express my thanks to the town for allowing us to use that building. But I would love to have a replacement, so.
I'm
Anybody
only-
out there with space?
I'm only too sorry we evicted you, but I wish we could find, we'll keep on looking in town if we can find some space as
Thank
well,
you.
because your organization is just fabulous.
Thank you.
Fabulous. You're doing great work over there, everybody involved. Anything else?
Move to adjourn?
Oh, no, let's,
Public comment.
before you do that,
Oh.
and I almost accepted it. But public comment, is there anyone, Terry, Kim, Ron, anyone like to have some mic time? Okay. Selectmen response, I'm sure is none, so
Move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?